Welcome everyone to round 3, the final round of May 28th, Star Wars Unlimited Locals Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. And surprise, surprise, on the Maul night, the standard Maul player decides not to play their Maul. Instead, they are on Vos Red. And I'm glad to see someone trying out Dryden Vos since post-rotation. He's very much still a fun leader to me. His ability to have tap, discard a level 6 or higher card from your hand and then give a level 5 or lower guy ambush, paying its cost, and then flipping on 7 and then basically pitching any card from your hand and giving any card in your hand ambush, paying of course the card's cost. So he's a very fun leader, but he was a lot better in in the pre-rotation era, where you had stuff like Palpatine's returns, where you could pitch all your force guys, like your big force guys like Maul, like the Vader in blue. You could just pitch all of that out of your hand and then use Palpatine's return to play them for free, and then they could do gimmicks on the battlefield for free. So it's pretty cool. I don't know if red's really the coloration I would have gone with Vos. I still think blue is the better coloration because you get the Vader from LOF that on attack when played give a shield to itself and one of your opponent's units, and on attack you may then kill a unit that has a shield token on your opponent's side of the board state. So typically you would give it, when Vos flips, you would typically give that Vader the ambush and allowing you to attack one of your opponent's units, potentially killing a ground unit and then killing something with the whatever the shield token had on it as well. So it's always a very nice thing. And it's going up against Vader JTL yellow. I was about to call it Force yellow. That's not correct. Anyways, it's just TIE Swarm Vader. We've discussed him before. If you like TIE fighters or like storming the board with TIE fighters, that's the name of the game. Play a bunch of vehicles in space, swing with those vehicles, and then punch your opponent in the face, allowing you to, of course, create your TIE tokens. Again, you can only create TIE tokens if you attack with a non-token vehicle unit. Doesn't care if it's in the ground or in space. And then basically you just swarm the battlefield with TIE tokens. You put out the clone Combat Squadron, the 4-drop Y-Wing, the 4-drop Y-Wings, because the art is Y-Wings, that gets a +1/+1 for each other vehicle unit you have in space, and then you just flip the Vader on 6 onto that, and then basically go to town against your opponent. So let us see if our player who typically plays Maul in these videos can win with Dryden Vos Red. All right, folks, here we go for game number 1. We're going to start off, of course, on the Vader side. We do already see the Clone Combat Squadron. We're going to start with a Black Sun Patroller. That is a really nice card right now for, of course, that. Then we're going to go for a Snub Fighter, and then we're going to ping off this shield there and then take 2 damage to the face there. Snub Fighter does come in with ambush. Not really great to see it with of course, the Black Sun Patroller coming out with the shield. That's why it was a really nice card when it got revealed to us, because it came out already with shields. We're going to go for a Victor Leader, giving all other units besides self +1/+1. So anyways, we're just going to have a potential. My opponent, our Dryden Vos player, tempted to try to think they could kill off the Black Sun Patroller with the Snub Fighter, but it doesn't really work here, as we're going to go immediately for then an attack. We're going to swing at the base there with the Black Sun Patroller there, as we did equip the Vader to the Snub Fighter there, and then we're going to, of course, have that, no TIE Fighter creation there from the Vader side of the board state. Very interesting, because there's only one vehicle right now on the board state, and while, yes, the Vader player did take the initiative, meaning that they do have the ability to swing, all that, it's also interesting to see the Red Vader. So anyways, we're going to go with Death Space Skirmisher, the rest down the Snub Fighter there, which isn't all that bad. And then we're going to go for Dengar on the ground. Again, Dengar, when you kill something that has the highest cost on it, you basically create a credit token. So anyways, then we're going to go for the Vader, creating a TIE Fighter. Again, not tapping the Vader. Again, here, locals, we're not exactly, no one's going to shark you over the fact you didn't tap your leader, but do be cautious that in big name events like PQs, regional and sector qualifiers, that you are supposed to tap your leader to represent what you're doing. So anyways, we're going to use the Dryden Vos effect, pitching the first light, and then being able to then trigger the effect, going for, of course, the effect on attack of the of the punishing one to kill off the TIE token, and then running it into the Death Space Skirmisher because of the ambush, and then because Dengar recognized that the Death Space Skirmisher was cost 3, so it does get to come down. Then we're going to kill it, and then does credit token. Anyways, the 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘 killing off, of course, the punishing one. Then we're going to go for a 𝐒𝐓𝐾, and then we're going to immediately be able to gain a TIE token here, which is not correct at all. No fighter on the Vader side swung that turn. That was your opponent's vehicle swung. All your vehicles were wiped out of the board state. So that is an incorrect play right there from the Vader side of the board state. That is a really incorrect play. That's the reason why you tap your leaders, so that you can showcase what you're doing, because nothing here creates TIE fighter tokens naturally. So anyways, we're going to swing another 4 into the base here, and then we're going to swing 2 from the 𝐒𝐓𝐾. Again, 𝐒𝐓𝐾 when defeated, your opponent does get to restand 1 resource. We're going to go for a Strike Fighter here that does have 0-3, but does get rank 3. And then we're going to go for the Clone Combat Squadron here, which also is pretty dangerous, because again, now that Clone Combat Squadron is getting a +3/+3, and when Vader flips, it is able to give it an additional +2/+2, because again, it will create 2 TIE Fighter tokens here. So right now, that is a pretty big dangerous menace to have flying around there in space. And then we're going to go flip for the Vader onto the Clone Combat Squadron. Then we're going to create 2 X-Wing tokens. That Clone Combat Squadron now has a +4/+4 attached to it right now. So actually make that a +5/+5, as we're going to go for a Lurking Snub Fighter to immediately be able to actually correct that. It's actually getting a +6/+6 right now, because it used 2 Lurking Snub Fighters, basically plotting those both out to rest the Dengar and the Strike Fighter here. And then we're going to go for the IG-2000, pinging all 3 TIE Fighters off the board state, reducing the minus, giving no, that's incorrect. Right. Okay, we do have the correction there. We are going to give a nice +3/+3 bonus there, plus, of course, the Vader. And then we're going to go flip for the Vos here. I believe Vos is on 7. They played 4. Yeah, they are on 7. 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘 to kill off the 𝐒𝐓𝐃 here, well, when defeated. So it looks like we're going to just, instead we're going to put 4 damage into the Vader here, just for all that. I don't know why they didn't decide not to go for the 𝐒𝐓𝐃. So, yeah. I think they're accidentally counting the Clone Combat Squadron. The Clone Combat Squadron doesn't count itself. From the way my opponent's tapping at their thing to count, it looks like they're counting the bomber as well. The Clone Combat Squadron does not count itself here, as we're just going to have a scoop up from the Dryden side of the board state. A couple misplays there from our Vader player. One, they created a TIE Fighter on the turn. They didn't swing with any vehicle. And I think they may have done their math wrong with the Clone Combat Squadron. I may be incorrect of how they're tapping that out to showcase the plus the math, the additional to it, but that may just be how they're doing it. But nonetheless, there's at least 1 misplay there that I can definitely count. But nonetheless, the Vos just can't deal with once Vader gets on this. It comes a hassle. I mean, Vader is going to be able to swing with a nice +3/+3 on it, because I know this fighter doesn't give itself the +1/+1 if it's the only fighter standing. It may, and I may just be reading it completely wrong. No, I did read it right. It does give +1/+1 gives itself +1/+1 for all other friendly space vehicles. So with that said, we're moving into game number 2. Here we go, folks. Game number 2. Let us see who's going to walk out of this. Will Vos be able to get a win against TIE Swarm Vaders? Anyways, we're going to start off with Strike Fighter. We're going to go for an A-Wing. And then it's going to be a pass there with a claim on the Vos side of things. So not too bad. I mean, the Strike Fighter is going to be able to kill off the A-Wing there, and then that's going to choke point Vader from having to worry about any vehicles right now. Again, that's the best way to deal with Vader in this in his JTL form, is that you just got to keep them off space vehicles. If you can keep them off vehicles and space and all that. So anyways, we're going to put on an 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘, but not going to use its effect here. So we're going to go put out the Cortana, which can reduce the next, when you play an Underworld unit, you can reduce its cost by 1, which is nice. It allows you to reduce Underworld units. So anyways, we're going to have the 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘. 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘 is going to be able to kill off, of course, the Strike Fighter there. It looks like they thought that the Strike Fighter actually dealt damage, so that's actually just going to be a quick correction there of 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘 going for the ambush, and then being able to create the TIE Fighter token because a vehicle did attacks there. It may have just been a miscommunication there, which is perfectly fine. Sometimes it happens. So anyways, we're just going to go for the IG-2000, being able to ping and ping. Really nice there play right there, being able to get rid of both of those 1 health point units off the board state. We're going to go for a Victor Leader. It really does suck that for some reason IG-2000 2000 is 1 attack point less than Victor Leader's health point. Oh, you gotta hate it sometimes, you know. So anyways, I believe Vos might have the initiative here. I'll kind of have to see what they want to do here. So it looks like we're going to pay probably for a 3 to attach the Vader pilot to the IG-2000, being able to then on attack be able to ping a unit for 1 here, but that's not going to matter because we're just going to go for a Death Space Skirmisher, resting that immediately down the board state. We're going to swing 2 damage from Jabba's personal cell barge. Then we're going to swing 2 damage from Victor Leader, and then it's going to be able to, of course, create a TIE token, but then we're going to go for the Black Sun Patroller, and then it looks like we, of course, are going to take that because Dryden Vos did take the initiative there. So again, while we aren't seeing the Vader being tapped, we do get the whole reasoning of it all. Just remember that you're technically supposed to be tapping out your leaders when you use leader style effects on their front side, if the leader states tap. So anyways, we're just going to have the IG-2000 swing in. Then we're going to swing over the Victor Leader there, and then we're going to trigger Vader's effect to kill off a TIE Fighter, and because we killed off a unit, we can ping another unit in the face. So we're going to get rid of the Black Sun Patroller's shield token there just so we can remove it, and then we're going to go for 2 onto the ground with the Jabba's Sail Barge as the Black Sun as the Space Skirmisher deals damage, and then we're going to go for the Black Sun Patroller, and then we're going to go for the first light. So then we're going to have an ambushing of the first light here, killing off, of course, the Death Space Skirmisher, and then because it did kill off something in ambush, you get to draw 1. Really nice card. I do really enjoy that. Anyways, we're going to bring out the Clone Squadron bombing at a 4/4 right now, and then actually it's going to be now a 5/5 because of that, and then we're going to go trigger the Vader effect because we did. Yes, we did swing with a vehicle unit. We did swing with the Black Sun Patroller as well as a Death Space Skirmisher, and then we're going to create 2 TIE Fighter tokens, and then we're just going to pass from there, making that Clone Combat Squadron once again hard to knock out because now it has a +5/+5 plus the +5/+5 it's getting from Vader. So technically, it's now a 13/13 flying in the sky right now. Now, again, the Vos is able to get rid of at least 2 of those TIE Fighters thanks to going for IG-2000. Technically, they can be able to reduce that bomber by just a slightly bit more by swinging the IG-2000 into, say, one of those other vehicle units, being able to then use Vader to then kill. So then we're going to go for kill and a kill. So that is going to drop the bomber down to only getting an extra +2 for vehicles in space. Then we're going to go for punch it, Chewie. That's going to give attack with that vehicle unit gets +2/+2 for the attack. Being able to, it's pretty nice. And again, why I say punch it. Now the card's name is Punch It, but I put the Chewie in there because it does have Chewbacca on it. So just kind of figuring out what Dryden Vos really wants to do here. They do have a Craving Power, which is pretty nice, being able to go equip certain things with Craving Power. Then we do have a point out there for the IG-2000. Should actually be on, should have taken 2 more attack points there from, of course, hitting the Black Sun Patroller as well. So we have a couple of ways we can strip down this bomber just a little bit, but again, there's not really much else we could do. So we're probably going to have the first light. First light is going to swing 5 damage into that. That does put it down to another +2, so we're going to swing another Clone Combat Squadron. At least this one doesn't have a Vader piloting it right now. So we are just looking at whether or not we want to do anything with Vos. So we're just going to go for Craving Power. Craving Power is going to be able to immediately be able to kill off that Vader. Yeah, I think that's more than enough power there to immediately kill off because it's not remaining health points, it's just attack power here. Then we're just going to be able to swing 2 on the ground there. Then we're going to flip the boss, and then the boss is going to be able to then swing for another 5. So 7 all together from the ground here. So again, remember the bomber is now a 5/5 right now because of getting the extra +2 from the 2 TIE Fighter tokens still standing. Not that it overly matters because those TIE Fighter tokens are very juicy targets for the attached Vader pilot just to be able to liquefy right off the board state thanks to his on-attack skill. Again, on attack, deal 1 damage to one of your opponent's units, and then if that unit was defeated by this effect, then you can deal 1 damage to another existing unit. Either another unit or your opponent's base here. So I'm gonna have to figure out what Vos wants to do here because they can swing technically over the bomber and then on attack kill off the 2 TIE Fighter tokens and only take 3 damage at that point off the bomber because it won't recognize the extra attack buff at that point. So we're just gonna kill off both of the TIE bombers here and then be able to take back 3 damage from that one. So that's immediately gonna be able to immediately be killed off, which is pretty nice there. I don't know why they took damage to their base. Anyways, we're going to have the Kachara. I don't know why we also put out a TIE token. I don't remember them swinging with anything. Any vehicle. Oh, no, sorry. They did swing it. Punch it. Punch its effect. Then that Vader should have been tapped this turn, which means that it doesn't actually exist at all. No, they didn't have the Vader. Did they attack with anything that? No, yes, they did attack. They attacked with, no, they didn't attack with anything. I don't know where that TIE fighter comes out. You can correct me down in the comments, but I believe that's another illegal TIE fighter coming out once again. And all that. Anyways, we are going to go for Vos's ability here to go for the ambush, where you're going to pitch out a Vader, and then we're going to swing. Then remember, we can give any unit, no matter the cost, ambush. Anyways, we're going to go for Full Matrix, swinging in, killing the A-Wing there, taking back 1 damage, but unfortunately, there's nothing for Full Matrix to kill on the ground. Again, Full Matrix does kill any unit on the ground state. Deals 4 damage to a unit on the ground, which is very nice. That's an interesting thing to hit with that. So anyways, it looks like we just have a scoop up there from the Vader side of it. I think they see that there's no way for them to deal with this as well as deal with the ground with only a 2 and a 1. Yeah, they're at 24, but that's not enough to win out the game state then and there. Especially with that Vader swings again, it can able to kill off the TIE Fighter token and swing damage at the base and all that. Not sure where that extra damage on the base came from there, because it looks like they swung there and killed it. That might have also just been a misrepresentation from our opponent as well. Nonetheless, everybody, we're moving into that all-important game number 3. All right, folks, welcome to that all-important, delicious game number 3. Will Vos Red be able to win against Vader JTL? We're going to start off with a First Order TIE Fighter, and we're going to go for a Spice Runner. Looking at top 3, you're able to grab any Underworld unit in your hand. We're going to go grab Jabba's Cell Barge. I'm not going to try to continue to pronounce that name. And pass from there. It's a little strange to see that the only vehicle right now playing on the Vader side of it is the First Order TIE Fighter, because it only gains raid once you of course have a vehicle token unit out, which I guess that gets you a token unit either way, because you just swung with a land speeder, because that does technically have the vehicle trait on it, which means Vader does give it. So we're going to go for Dengar, then we are going to touch the Vader. Hey, look, we are tapping correctly this time. So anyways, that is going to give the raid there. That is kind of funny, because again, Vader doesn't care about fighters or space vehicles or anything like that. He just says vehicles. As long as a vehicle has swung, which is absolutely hilarious, that the X-34 land speeder was able to give you a TIE token to allow you to gain the raid on that. So anyways, we're going to pitch out a Maul for the Katara, and then the Jabba Cell Barge is going to be able to kill the land speeder off. And again, as a reminder, the next Underworld unit you play also is able to reduce the cost of 1. And then we're going to swing again for that raid there. Then Dengar is going to swing again. Dengar does recognize that the land speeder was the highest cost on the battlefield, so meaning that we do have a credit token. And then there's the Clone Combat Squadron, which, by the way, our Vader player has seen all 3 games. We are going to go for, of course, the Vader effect there, because we did attack with the First Order TIE Fighter, meaning that we do have that. And right now, unfortunately, I think Boss is just now dead. I will say that with all confidence. That Clone Squadron Bomber is right now getting a +3/+3, so unless they have a way to not nuke that thing before it gets out of hand, it's getting out of hand. So anyways, we're going to go put Craving Power to kill off the Dengar there, making that thing even worse of a ship to try to get rid of. Now we're going to burn the token. We're going to kill off the First Order TIE Fighter there, taking back 2 damage points, and then we're going to be able to then draw 1, and then the Clone Combat Squadron is then going to swing into the base there, getting it. We'll have 5, and then 6, 7, and then 2 more. 6, 7. Anyways, then we're going to create another TIE Fighter token, because a vehicle did swing here, and then we're going to have the Vader this turn flip on to the good old Clone Combat Squadron, make 2 more TIE Fighter tokens, and then it will be near impossible for that our good old Vos player to out that bomber in any capacity. So anyways, we're going to kill off another TIE Fighter, then draw another card. I mean, yeah, I guess you can try to draw an out, but as we're going to go here, we're going to go for the Vader to make 2 TIE Fighter tokens. And then it looks like we're going to put out Chancellor Palpatine to immediately be able to, of course, plot him out and then get 2 spy tokens, both of which have, of course, Sentinel for the phase, which is pretty nice, guarding up your ground. Again, the Sentinels have 0/2, so I mean, Jabba Cell Barge is able to kill that off. Anyways, we're going to go for the Vos effect again, and you had to pitch level 6 or higher guys. We're going to go for the Punishing One to then ambush into a TIE Fighter, then trigger the effect. Looks like we're going to ambush into the Clone Combat Squadron there, dealing just 3 damage, because there was no raid on our opponent's, no damage units on our opponent's side of the board here. So we're just going to swing a lesser cost, but I don't think it's really going to matter in the end. I think because our opponent has seen all 3 games, the Clone Combat Squadron, and is able to then put the Vader on it, that's just going to be a scoop up there for Vos. Yeah, it does suck. Well, I think our Vader player had some misplays with creating TIE Fighter tokens. In the end, I don't think it really mattered. Game 2 definitely was the better game for Vos. They were able to better control the board state. But in Game 1 and 3, the Clone Combat Squadron was their downfall. And I mean, if you let the Vader get off going on that bomber and you let them swarm the sky with space units, then yeah, that bomber is going to come and swing you and make your day very bad, especially once the Vader's on it and becomes a leader unit, and you can't use cards that state non-leader onto it to try to kill it off, because at that point that's a leader unit. So nonetheless, guys, I hope you enjoyed. It's a little unfortunate that Dryden Vos just couldn't win. I definitely feel like he's lost a lot of his power in the post-rotation format. Who knows? Maybe he'll gain some more when we get Ashes. Doesn't feel like it, but who knows? Maybe he'll get some more. But nonetheless, guys, hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the decks as well. And while you guys are commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you know if I will my videos go live for you. I'll see you here next time on Dragons TCG.